Few topics in American social science generate more sustained controversy than the relationship between firearms and crime. The literature is voluminous, the findings are mixed, and the policy stakes are high. This book does not take a side. Its purpose is to equip you to evaluate the evidence for yourself, to understand how that evidence is produced, and to recognize the difference between a confident conclusion and a contested one. Any serious analysis has to begin with the scale of the problem. According to the CDC, more than 44,000 people in the United States died from firearm injuries in 2024. Here is the fact that surprises most people. Roughly 62% of those deaths were suicides, and about 35% were homicides. For 3 decades, the majority of firearm deaths have been self-inflicted. Any account that focuses only on homicide captures fewer than half of the lives lost. Lethality is central to why this matters. Firearm suicide attempts are fatal about 90% of the time, while the most common methods are fatal in only a small fraction of cases. The same logic applies to interpersonal violence, where a firearm is far more likely than another weapon to turn a violent encounter into a fatal one. Beyond deaths, every fatal injury is accompanied by several non-fatal ones, with lasting medical, psychological, and economic costs, and the most comprehensive estimates place the annual burden in the hundreds of billions of dollars. The harm is not evenly distributed. Firearm homicide concentrates among young men, and disproportionately among young black men in urban areas. Firearm suicide concentrates among older white men, particularly in rural areas. Geographically, rates in the South and Mountain West exceed those in the Northeast, and within cities, violence concentrates in a remarkably small number of street segments. Internationally, the United States is an outlier, with a firearm homicide rate roughly 10 times that of peer democracies. That disparity is driven not by an exceptional overall propensity for violence, but by the firearm-specific component. To make sense of the debates, the chapter introduces 3 analytic frames. The public health frame treats gun violence as an injury problem, like motor vehicle crashes, and emphasizes population-level prevention and means restriction. The criminological frame treats it as criminal behavior and focuses on offenders, deterrence, and illegal markets. The rights frame treats firearms as objects of constitutional protection, shaped by decisions like Heller, McDonald, and Bruin. None of these frames is wrong. They prioritize different outcomes and accept different standards of evidence, which is why scholars using the same data often reach incompatible conclusions. The chapter previews 5 recurring debates: whether greater firearm availability increases or decreases crime, how often firearms are used defensively, whether gun control policies reduce gun violence, how mass shootings should be studied, and what should count as adequate evidence in the first place. That last question matters most. Firearms research is dominated by observational data because randomized experiments are rarely possible. Correlation is not causation, and the gap between them is bridged, when at all, by theory, design, and assumptions. The most influential work uses quasi-experimental methods like difference in differences and synthetic control, and a single striking finding means little until it has been replicated by researchers with different commitments. The political history matters too. From 1996, federal appropriations language widely read as restricting CDC research had a chilling effect for more than 2 decades, so some gaps in the evidence reflect a lack of investment rather than a lack of effects. So this book commits to honest hedging. Where the evidence supports a confident conclusion, it reports it. Where the evidence is thin or contested, it preserves the uncertainty rather than papering over it. The chapters that follow build from foundations through measurement and empirical findings to policy and comparative perspective. By the end, you should be able to tell which findings are solid and which are still in dispute, and that is the most useful skill this subject can give you.